Keynes's model of the macroeconomy is driven by demand, and one of the cool results that Keynes gets is called the multiplier. That is, your spending becomes someone else's income, and when he spends it, he creates income for someone else and sets up a chain reaction that creates a whole lot of income in the economy. In order to understand the multiplier, we're going to begin with the concept of the marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume is defined as the change in consumption that results from a change in income. That is, if you get one additional dollar of income, how much of it are you going to spend and how much of it are you going to save? Suppose the marginal propensity to consume is 50% or 1/2. That means of every dollar that you get, every additional dollar, you're going to put half of it in savings and spend 50 cents. Now, suppose we're in an economy where everyone has the same marginal propensity to consume. That is, everybody who gets a new dollar's worth of income spends half of it and saves half of it. What would happen then if you decided that you wanted to spend $8? Suppose you just found it in a mattress and decided you were going to go spend it and maybe buy a compact disc. What would be the effect on the gross domestic product of your one action? Well, let's follow the chain of events that would result whenever you spend your $8. And remember, the $8 that you spend at the record store becomes the income of the record store owner, which is going to change his spending habits. So let's set this up carefully then. What you did whenever you went into the record store was you spent $8. So we'll put $8 right here because that's been the increase in gross domestic product that resulted from your choice to buy a compact disc. Now, think about the first round of results. This $8 worth of income in the record store owner's pocket is going to change his behavior. Multiply $8 by the marginal propensity to consume, and you get his increased consumption. In our example, the marginal propensity to consume is 1/2. So the record store owner is going to go out and change his consumption now by $4. And those $4, suppose, are going to be spent on ice cream. So he now creates income for the ice cream store owner of $4. So we add more income here, since we're keeping a tally of the total amount of income that's created in our economy of $4 created for the ice cream store owner. Now, the ice cream store owner also has a marginal propensity to consume of 50%. So let's suppose now that he goes and spends $2 at the greeting card store. So his consumption increases by $2, which becomes new income of $2 for the woman who runs the greeting card store. So let's put this income down here for her. Now, she's got a marginal propensity to consume of 50%, so she's going to go spend $1, maybe to buy an apple, which adds $1 worth of income in the pocket of the grocer. And by now you get the point, right? This thing just keeps going. We get consumption of 1/2 when the grocer spends half and saves half. And then 1/2 of income is created by the grocer spending. Maybe he buys a movie ticket. And this just keeps going. 1/4, 1/8, and so forth. And over here I put all the additional income that's added whenever each successive person chooses to spend until the pieces are so small that I just can't handle them anymore. Now look, we've got a geometric progression here. The first act of spending creates $8 worth of income. The second act of spending, the record store owner's choice, creates half that amount, or $4. The next choice creates half that amount, or $2, and the amounts get geometrically smaller at each stage. Now, what's that going to give us? If we add up all these pieces, we're going to get the total change in income in the economy. So what's it going to look like here? It's going to look something like this. Let's get my pieces added here together. 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8, and I can't even pick these up anymore. They're so little. So I'm going to, but look what I've got here. They all add up to $16. The total change in income that results from your original decision to spend $8 is $16 worth of increase in gross domestic product. Now, how would you have known that? How would you have known that the total change in income in this case was going to be equal to $16? Well, you would have known it because there is a nice simple mathematical formula that shows how a geometric sequence can be summarized. That is, if you have 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 and you add them all up, you're eventually going to get to 2. And 2 is equal to 1 over 1 minus 1/2. That is, if the effect, if the marginal propensity to consume is 1/2, then each successive stage is going to be 1/2 of the previous stage. And the grand total that you get is going to be 1 over 1 minus 1/2, which is 1 over 1/2, which is 2. So you originally spent $8. The grand total increase in gross domestic product was 16. This is going to be true in general. In general, the multiplier is going to be related to the marginal propensity to consume in exactly this fashion. Now, let me define what a multiplier is. A multiplier is defined as the change in gross domestic product that results from a change in autonomous spending. Say government spending. If the government spent $8, in our previous example, we get an increase of GDP of 16. It could also be a change in income that results from a change in investment spending. If businesses spend the money, you get exactly the same consequences. So what's important here is that when autonomous spending changes, that is spending that's not directly related to your income, but a decision to spend more money apart from your income, when you increase autonomous spending, the change in income that results from that change in autonomous spending in equilibrium is the multiplier, that ratio. And in our previous example, it was 2. Well, in general, the formula for the multiplier is going to be equal to 1 over 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume. Now, since the marginal propensity to consume is a fraction, and since the only thing you can do with your income besides consuming it is saving it, then 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume is equal to the marginal propensity to save. So, the multiplier is equal to 1 over the marginal propensity to save. Now, again, let me stress the point that in our previous story, our chain reaction began with an increase in consumer spending. But it could have just as easily begun with an increase in government spending, or an increase in business spending, or an increase in the spending by foreigners. It doesn't matter. Whoever is spending autonomously is setting this chain reaction in motion. And the multiplier is defined as the change in equilibrium gross domestic product that results when somebody autonomously increases their spending. Now, you can see why Keynes was interested in this idea, because if the government spends money, what it does is creates income for people who then will themselves spend more money. And the net result is gross domestic product begins to multiply, grow rapidly, creating jobs for people. During the Great Depression, Keynes argued that the way to get out of the Depression was to increase gross domestic product by having the government prime the pump. If the government spends, then the government creates income for consumers through income checks for their work on government projects, and they go out and spend money themselves, which creates income for grocers and record store owners and ice cream parlors and so on and so forth. So the multiplier effect then depends on how much money people are willing to spend. When the marginal propensity to consume is high, the multiplier is big, and that chain reaction goes on and on. But if people tend to put most of their income in the bank and the marginal propensity to consume is small, then the multiplier is small, and the effect of a change in government spending will be much less than when the MPC is high. So this is Keynes's idea. The model is driven by demand, and the bigger the marginal propensity to consume, the bigger effect a given change in autonomous spending will have on the overall gross domestic product.